Welcome back to Drive RPM. Today we're not just talking about cars, we're having a serious conversation about power, control, and the fundamental machinery that moves our modern world. When you look at the traffic on the M25, the German Autobahn, or Australia's Pacific Highway, you see metal, rubber, and glass. But through the lens of global economics, you see something far more profound: dependency. We are witnessing the end of the oil age, yet we are not entering an era of energy freedom. We are trading one master for another. The new masters of 21st century mobility do not sit in the deserts of the Middle East, but in the sterile, hyper-efficient boardrooms of southeastern China. There is a single entity that holds the keys. If it decided to turn off the tap tomorrow, the electric vehicle revolution in Europe, North America, and Australia wouldn't just slow, it would collapse. Assembly lines at Volkswagen and Ford would halt. BMW's visionary Neue Klasse would remain a drawing. Even Tesla would face a catastrophic supply shock capable of evaporating its market valuation overnight. We are not discussing just another supplier. We are talking about CATL, Contemporary Amperex Technology Company Limited. This is the giant that has weaponized electrochemistry. They don't merely lead the market, they are the market. Controlling over 37% of global battery supply means more than 1 in every 3 electric vehicles on Earth runs on their technology. Today on Drive RPM, we dissect the Leviathan. We will take you inside the Lighthouse factory in Ningde, arguably the most advanced manufacturing facility in human history. We will reveal the secret technology behind partnerships, like the one with Chery, that enable cars to drive over 1,000 kilometers without stopping, shattering range anxiety forever. And we will explain why governments in Canberra, Berlin, and Washington are watching not with admiration, but with cold, existential fear. Prepare yourselves. The future is electric, but the power switch is firmly in China. The architect, Robin Zeng, and the gambler's masterstroke. To understand the threat, you must understand the architect. CATL wasn't born in a Silicon Valley garage, fueled by venture capital and free-spirited idealism. It was forged in the strategic mind of Robin Zeng, a man from a humble village in Ningde who operates with the calculated precision of a grandmaster. Officially, he's a physicist. In reality, he is a high-stakes gambler who never bluffs. In the late 1990s, while the world was, obsessed with the dot-com bubble, Zeng was focused on something a bit smaller: the batteries inside portable devices. He founded ATL, Amperex Technology Limited, and made a colossal bet on lithium polymer technology. Thin, flexible batteries that could be molded into any shape. And, well, he won. ATL became the exclusive battery supplier for Apple's iPod and, later on, the iPhone. He was already in your pocket, and honestly, you didn't even know it. But Zeng saw the ceiling. In 2011, he read the geopolitical tea leaves. The Chinese Communist Party was poised to force an electric vehicle transition on a scale the West just couldn't fathom. So, he did the unthinkable. He sliced his own company in half. He sold the consumer electronics division and created CATL, focused 100% on automotive power. It was, honestly, an insane risk. EVs were still seen as glorified golf carts. But, fortune favors the bold and the politically connected. The Chinese government created a white list of approved battery suppliers. To receive vital subsidies in the world's largest car market, you had to use Chinese batteries. Foreign giants like LG, Panasonic, and Samsung, they were effectively locked out. CATL grew up in a protected, state-nurtured ecosystem, crucially partnered with BMW. The Germans taught CATL how to build to automotive-grade standards. In return, CATL learned how to eventually dominate them. By the time the global market opened, it was just too late. CATL was no longer a startup. It was an industrial titan that could crush anyone on price, volume, and scale. CATL's threat isn't just financial, it's a level of industrial precision that, honestly, borders on science fiction. Their flagship facility in Ningde is recognized by the World Economic Forum as a lighthouse factory. That's like the Nobel Prize of manufacturing. Forget images of 20th century plants, loud, dirty, and human-driven. Entering a CATL facility is like stepping into a biological containment unit. Floors are white, air is filtered, and, well, humans are scarce. The production line operates at a speed the human eye cannot follow. It produces a finished battery cell every 1.7 seconds. In the time you take a single breath, CATL produces multiple cells. Their annual capacity is measured in hundreds of gigawatt-hours, a scale that for years dwarfed the total output of Tesla's famed Gigafactory in Nevada. But the real terror for European engineers is in the defect rates. Traditional auto measures quality in parts per million, or ppm. CATL looked at that standard and laughed. They operate in parts per billion, ppb, a centralized AI system linked via 5G to thousands of ultra-high-resolution cameras, scans the microscopic coating of electrodes in real time. If a flaw the size of a micron, a fraction of a human hair, is detected, the AI self-corrects the machine instantly, without stopping the line. This is extreme manufacturing. It delivers the lowest cost per kilowatt-hour on the planet. They win on margin, volume, and quality. It is a money-printing machine fueled by lithium. The arsenal weaponized chemistry. Having the best factory is useless without a superior product. CATL has turned chemistry into a diversified arsenal, mastering the inferior tech, LFP and CTP. For years, Western automakers dismissed lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, as cheap, heavy, and low density. But CATL, well, they ignored the critics. They refined the chemistry and invented cell-to-pack, or CTP technology. By eliminating bulky modules and integrating cells directly into the vehicle's structure, they basically turned the battery into the car's skeleton. This made LFP safe, cheap, and long-lasting, viable for the global mass market almost overnight. The crown jewel, the CATL battery. This is, honestly, an engineering masterpiece. It utilizes a record 72% of its volume for active energy material. The secret here is its sandwich cooling. Liquid cooling plates are inserted between the cells, which actually quadruples the heat transfer area. For you, this means charging from 10 to 80% in just 10 minutes, drastically reduced fire risk, and ranges that were once thought impossible for a pack like this. The atomic bomb condensed matter battery. Just as competitors thought they were catching up, CATL unveiled this, with an energy density of 500 watt-hours per kilogram, nearly double that of a standard Tesla cell. It completely resets the horizon. And this isn't just for cars. 500 watt-hours per kilogram is the magic number for viable electric aviation. CATL isn't just targeting roads, they're preparing to own the skies. CATL knows it doesn't build cars, it needs hosts to carry its technological virus. Chery is the perfect vector for global expansion. Recently, the automotive world shook with the announcement of Chery's new Kunpeng battery line, promising a range of, wow, 1,300 to 1,500 kilometers. Let's contextualize that number for a second. For Europe, that means driving from London to Florence, or Berlin to Rome, all on a single charge. The continent basically becomes a single tank. And for Australia, you could tackle the Nullarbor Plain or drive from Sydney to Adelaide without even a hint of range anxiety. A genuine game-changer for a nation defined by vast distances. Although it's branded under Chery, the core technology, research and development and supply chain are all CATL's. This partnership is, honestly, a potential death sentence for legacy automakers. Imagine a Volkswagen ID.4 costing €50,000 with a 450-kilometer range, sitting next to a Chery SUV at €45,000 with a 1,300-kilometer range and a 15-minute charging time. It's not even competition, it's commercial annihilation. Legacy brands are basically bringing knives to a nuclear gunfight. There's a final, often overlooked layer to CATL's dominance, the end of life. While Europe and Australia are still debating recycling frameworks, CATL is already doing it at scale through its subsidiary, Brump Recycling. They're recovering 99.3% of nickel, cobalt, and manganese, and over 90% of lithium from spent batteries. Think about the strategic implication here. As CATL sells more batteries, it creates what you could call an urban mine. They become their own source of raw materials. Over the next decade, their material costs will plummet because they won't need to dig as much out of the ground. They'll just harvest it from old cars. This creates an economic and environmental closed loop that newcomers simply can't replicate. It's a fortress that grows stronger with every battery sold. This brings us to the corridors of power in Washington, Brussels, and Canberra. The West has awakened to a chilling reality. The so-called green transition is, in effect, a massive transfer of geopolitical leverage to Beijing. In the United States, policymakers are now viewing dependence on Chinese batteries as a national security risk even greater than the oil dependence